Documenting. Woo!
Alright, well, I'm gonna do this race report. So I had this long video, race week video that I was gonna do. But after the race, I didn't have time to edit it during the week. And after the race happened, well, I honestly didn't feel it was worth it. Because it'd be hyping up a race that ultimately just sucked. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over race week verbally and talk about it, and then like the lead up and then the race. And if I have clips I can throw over top of this thing, great. Race week started what, the 21st, 22nd of April. And it was a solid week. You know, taper was good, peak week was good. It was just simple tempo runs, tempo bike, you know, just swim, just to kind of keep yourself loose or keep me loose, and etc. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I felt great. I got Thursday, I left for Houston, and you know, I left 9 o'clock in the morning. I had to take my daughter to work. Everything kind of worked out well, and you know, I got there in time to meet everybody. We met up for check-in. We did all the check-in stuff. The expo, you know, I mean, the expo is never really like wow. You know, like the first couple of expos I was at was just like, yo, there's so much stuff here, right? But then like over the years, obviously Ironman's been losing sponsors and losing vendors participation, and it's just, it doesn't have the same feel. Like you go to the vendor, you walk through, you know, the expo real quick, like all the tents that's set up, and nothing really wows you at all anymore. So, you know, I talked to some people at the Varlo tent who I met through CJ Media's website or YouTube page. I watched him do Oceanside and saw the Varlo team, and then I saw them in person, and it was really cool because, and I didn't get any of this on video, but I was talking to the Varlo team, and I mentioned Chris, and he's like, oh cool, let me see if I can FaceTime him real quick. So he FaceTimed with Chris, so I was talking with Chris at the Varlo tent about how I recognized him from his video, and it was just like this big three-way, you know, like kind of full circle type event, talking to a YouTuber on the phone actually, instead of just commenting on Instagram or YouTube. So just, you know, the weird shit like that, you know, just stokes me up. I talked to Natasha Vandermeer from NVDM Coaching, you know, because Natasha and I have kind of talked at events for the last couple of years. You know, we just kind of bump into each other all the time. You know, when we talk about her athletes and, you know, where she's going, how she's doing business-wise, etc. And that's always a good conversation to have. You know, so we all checked in, me, Dom, Helen, and Madison. We all checked in to our to the race. We got our numbers 1, 2, you know, 1990, 1986, 87, 88, and 89. The four of us in a row, boom, 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 which meant we were lined up in transition together, so we would know exactly where everybody was, you know, when in transitions. So the rest of the day was just kind of like, let's just hang around. You know, I did nothing. I lounged. I talked to, you know, I just kind of hung out at the hotel room. I went to dinner, and that was that. It was just very, very chill. I brought my PlayStation to Houston, and I watched all 3 Creed movies over the next couple days. Friday morning was the practice swim, so we all met up at the swim start, which is where it was. I met a couple pros from the base team. I met Tim O'Donnell. If you're a triathlete, you know who Tim O'Donnell is, so I met him. And you know, again, it was just connecting with different triathletes that I've known from social media that we just happened to bump into at the race and these events. And it's just like, oh cool, you know, we actually do follow each other, because they were asking questions about me and, you know, what I'm doing, my prep, my race, etc., and vice versa. Did the swim. When I did the practice swim, I kind of felt okay. I didn't feel bad in any way, shape, or form. Like, you know, I didn't have that anxiety like I did at St. George. It was just kind of like get my rhythm, just flowed 800 yards down and back, and that was it. So, you know, me, Helen, Dom, Madison, and I all swam. We felt really good. Then we had to do our bike check-in thing. Ran into a couple other friends at bike check-in. My friend Holly, who was braiding hair, just there as a courtesy, just for some of the athletes. You know, haven't seen her in a little while, but she lives in Houston, so we bumped into each other and started talking for a little while. You know, we got everything set up, everything was good to go, and Friday night was just chill. Connie and Gigi showed up at the hotel around like 10, and then it was bedtime. Saturday morning, I woke up and I didn't feel bad. I felt rested, I felt recovered, my legs felt fresh. Everything leading up to Saturday felt good. There was no random pains, I wasn't feeling kind of weird, I wasn't getting sick in any way, shape, or form. But we knew, based on weather reports, that it was going to be windy. They said 20 to 30 mile an hour winds. We're like, holy shit. So we got down to transition. I got down there first. I waited for Madison. I got all set up. I got my run bag set up, my bike bag set up. I was just kind of taking my time, listening to music, just having a good old time, doing what I did. Then it was like a mile walk to the swim start. And, we're just getting loose, just, warming up, etc. And, finally, Helen and Dom showed up. Brooke was there observing. He surprised us with his visit. That was really awesome to see Brooke there, getting video and pictures and just kind of showing support, even though he didn't have to be. So it was great seeing him. Swim start, got underway. And initially, like, my thought is always, especially since St. George, has always been stay calm. Right? My whole plan with the swim was to get in, calm down, mentally, because I do have open water anxiety, which is really, it sucks. I always panic at first in the water, but I'm trying to remain calm because this water, you couldn't see anything. I couldn't see my hand after I extended it. That's how nasty the water was. It was just brown. It wasn't like you were swimming through, toxic sewage. Maybe you were, I don't know. So I got in the water. My whole plan was to get in the water, once it gets situated, and get comfortable, get loosened up, find my line, and swim in there. And then after the turn, start to go a little bit faster, and then in the canal, just finish up, finish strong, etc. It didn't work. It didn't happen that way. I was an idiot, and I picked the buoy line, like right on the buoys, instead of going about 25 yards away from the buoys, where there's typically less people. And I swam the buoy line, which means you're swimming with all the amateur swimmers, you're swimming with people who don't know how to sight, you're swimming with people who don't care who's in front of them, they're just gonna pull you and claw you and swim over you. And that just, every time like I was I'd be swimming and somebody would cross in front of me, I'd stop. And this person would swim and cross in front of me and I'd stop. And some guy swam and landed on my back. And of course I stopped. So like the whole first part of the swim was just absolute trash. About 700 yards in, my goggles fogged up, so I tried in the water to rinse them off and put them back on my head, but I couldn't get them on my face securely enough, so had to swim to a boat, hold on to a buoy, and just put them back on, make sure, then they started leaking, so I had to come back to the boat and put them back on. That took about 4 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes, nothing over like crazy there, but again, it was a setback. Once I got going after that, I hit the first turn. My watch was buzzing every 400 yards, so I knew, okay, boom, I'm trying to do math in my head while singing Chainsmokers in my head while swimming. And then after the first turn, the second turn, whatever, I knew there was like a little archway. I didn't know if we were supposed to swim under it, but I did. It seemed like there was a lot more room on the second leg of the swim, so it kind of felt better. But I was like, oh, I'm still too far away to kind of work and go a little bit faster. And then by the time I hit the canal, I was just like, it was so shallow, I didn't want to grab the ground anymore. Like, I hit the ground a couple times while swimming, and you're just trying to get done at this point. But I felt fine. It was a lot slower, so my swim was 125, my projection was like 110 to 115, so I was 15 minutes behind schedule. But again, I was like, I'll make it up on the bike and the run. Got out of transition, 8.5 minutes or so, about 30 seconds slower than expected, but I was eating my Pop-Tart, I got my water, I got, whatever. Now, I'm gonna pause here and say, before the race, well, a couple days before the race, my tri-kit, the white one that I was wearing, the zipper broke at the bottom. So if I opened it all the way, I couldn't get it closed, and it would just flap open. So that morning, I took it off and I had to like string the zipper, like thread the zipper. I got it up and I said, okay, cool, I'm good, as long as I don't have to unzip it. And the problem with a full suit, a single piece body or a tri-kit is when you have to go to the bathroom, you gotta take the whole thing off. And at first I was like, oh, I'm good. But then we got to swim start and the nerves started to kick up and I had to go to the bathroom where I would have needed to take the whole thing off. So in my head, I kept saying, as long as I get to T2, I'll be fine. Now, back to the transition. So I get out of transition. I'm the last one on my team out. I don't know how far ahead anybody is. No one giving me, oh, there, Dom's this far ahead, Matt is this far ahead. So I just said, screw it, I'm just gonna ride. And if I catch him, I catch him. If I don't, whatever. The first like 5 miles was or 10 miles was an out and back. And Brooke was on that part of the course. So he saw me, whatever. After the turnaround, I passed him the second time. He said, Madison's about a minute ahead. Cool. So I kept going. Passed her within a couple miles, within a mile or so. By mile 10, I had passed Madison, and I wasn't working hard. And we're working about where we should have been working. 10 miles later, we get to the Hardy Toll Road, and as I'm getting on the toll road, I hear and feel my back tire flat. So pull off to the side. I got a puncture flat. So it took me about 10 minutes to get my tire off because it had somehow got tightened that much. By the time I messed with it, 30 minutes later, maintenance finally showed up. Boom, 3 minutes later, I'm back on the bike. Madison had already passed me, no big deal. I got 20 miles down before the turnaround, and it was into a 20 to 30 mile an hour sustained headwind with gusts of 30 to 40 miles an hour. It was insanely sick. Look at this wind chart right here. This was from that day. And it was incredibly nasty, and there's really no way. It was almost dangerous because you'd blow, you're in aero position, and a gust of wind would blow, and you'd start rocking and going like that. I passed Madison right before the turn, and the way back was just amazing. I was averaging probably about 130 watts of power, which is 100 watts lower than my FTP, and I was doing 24 to 26 miles an hour on the way back. It felt so effortless to go that fast. No problems there. Hit the second turn, cool. Hit special needs, stopped, refueled my water, my bottles, whatever. Got on my way. So as I'm going back about 10 miles, not even 10 miles from transition, a couple miles from special needs, gust of wind blew my bike sideways into one of the joints in the road, the cracks between the slabs on the highway, and it was just wide enough for my tire. And my tire landed in it, and I flipped, went over the handlebars, scraped up my leg. My elbow got a little bit of a scratch, nothing big there, but my rear derailleur got bent into the spokes of my tires, and I got a second flat. So I hit my head pretty hard, but no headache, no concussion, whatever. I was getting a little stomach nausea. No big deal, right? So I'm trying to get up, get my bike ready to go. Another lady comes. She crashed the exact same way in the exact same place. Get the derailleur. I pulled the derailleur out and just kind of said, hey, you're going to work. And I tried to keep going. That's when I realized I had a flat. This time I had no extra tubes, no extra CO2. The derailleur was bent into the wheel, and I have to wait for maintenance. I waited 81 minutes for maintenance to show up, right? And then I realized, so as I'm sitting there, I go, the first 30-minute flat tire cost me 12 hours, or the possibility of 12 hours. This made my race less about chasing PRs and more about chasing cutoffs, okay? When the bike finally got back on the road, maintenance showed up after 80 minutes. 2 minutes later, boom, my tire's pumped, back on the bike, boom, he throws it on, says you're good, cool, I get up and go. Now I gotta go 15 miles into the wind, hit the turnaround, 20 miles back, and then the last 12 to transition. As I get to the top turnaround, there's a cutoff time of 3:35 p.m. I look at my watch, it's 3:35 p.m. So now I'm like, really panicked. Now I'm doing math in my head because I'm panicking, saying, am I even going to make the cutoff of the T2 cutoff, which is about 10 hours? So I'm flying, I'm going as fast as I can all the way back to transition. My foot is in pain, my ankle's in pain, My knee is in pain. My whole right lower leg is in pain from the crash. My hip is bruised. My left shoulder hurts. I'm nauseous. I'm not eating because I don't care about food at this point. I just want to go. I didn't want any kind of distractions whatsoever. Probably another bad move. Anyway, my wife has been panicking for 2 hours wondering where the hell I've been. I finally, at 9.5 hours of race time, pull up into transition 2. And blood running down my leg. My wife trying to calm herself down, saying, thank God. I said, babe, at this point, I'm just trying to see if I can finish. So I go through transition about just under 6 minutes, which was a little faster than I wanted. But at this point, again, I'm not worried about time. I'm just worried about trying to finish. I get changed and I get off on the run. And I'm in so much pain on my right leg, on my right foot, my right ankle, my right knee, that running sucks. So I'm doing like 30 to a minute of run. It's humid, it's hot, it's everything that we expected but didn't get earlier in the race, but now we have to deal with it. And it was insane. I think the longest clip I ran for straight was like 4 minutes. And at that point, I was like, I can't, I gotta walk. I spent more time walking than running. I got to the end, end of the first lap, 9 miles in, and called it. And I was like, I'm not gonna make the cutoff. I'm in too much pain, I can't even run. I can't run long without, really kind of feeling it. There's no point in risking further injury especially if I'm not even gonna make the cutoff. So, I turned on my timing chip and said, that's it. Went back to collecting my stuff, went back to the hotel. So my race ended in my second DNF in 2 years. And that absolutely sucks. I'm not as mad as at this one, but I'm still mad. It's still bothering me from a competitive standpoint. Like, I want it to be better. But I mean, it is what it is. It's part of the game. If I didn't crash and waste that 90 minutes of time, I could have finished. I would have finished, not could have, would have finished. But that 90 minutes that I was waiting on, maintenance to come and make sure my bike was good and, fix the extra tire that I didn't have air or a tube for, that just sucked. I mean, it was what it was. So that's DNF number 2. My overall analysis or thoughts on the venue, Lake Woodlands is great. The whole area, but everything was just kind of really, really good. The area was close enough. There was enough food, enough shops, everything was kind of in walking distance from where you had to be. It was great. The course, I mean, the bike course, the Hardy sucked. Let's be real. I mean, if that's what they call a party, then I'm too old for this shit. I did not enjoy the 25-mile-an-hour headwinds at all, in any way, shape, or form. But from what I hear, that's like a norm. You're always going to get a headwind on the Hardy. Maybe I should have done more with the bike, not necessarily been at that far to the right, but more towards the middle of the lane. But tomato, tomato. The run course was phenomenal, and I'm really kind of more upset that I didn't get a chance to do a second and third lap on the run course. I would have wanted to see Hippie Hollow at night, but there was so much run support, not only on the canal, but like even outside of the canal around the lake where they could, like, it's the park where the swim start was, and on the backside of the communities, there was so much support on that. Like, you felt like a celebrity walking the red carpet, or like a Tour de France rider going to those little villages when there's people like slapping you on the shoulder. There was just that much support. It was insane. It was an absolute party. Would I do that race again? Absolutely. Like, the swim was slow, but it was on me. It wasn't because of the water conditions. That was me. The bike was the wind helped me, but I mean, again, I was too far over to the right where the wind blew me. I eventually crashed. That was on me. And then the run was a result of the bike crash. So yeah, I will do it again. Texas has officially replaced St. George as number 1 on my revenge list. So when I get back to Ironman racing and training, that's number 1. The first race I'm doing is that one. So let's talk about what's next, because that's kind of a big thing. I've ended my season. I was registered for Happy Valley, 70.3 Pennsylvania, whatever. But I withdrew from that. This prep has been mentally killing me. It's been 32 weeks if you include the marathon prep, because I only took a week off between the two. So I've been training for about 32 weeks, and I had 2 races. The marathon was okay, but this one obviously was not. I'm mentally tired. I've had 3 Ironman preps, a half Ironman prep, and a marathon prep in the last 2.5 years. I'm just mentally and physically tired. So we're taking the rest of May off, where I'm not doing anything, nothing athletic. If I hit 10,000 steps, it's because I was walking like the mall or Disney or something like that, and I have no plans on going to Disney in May. So if I hit a lot of steps, it's because I'm, clearly doing something I probably shouldn't be doing. Once I get back to exercising, my wife and I are going to be hitting the gym. We have 2 focuses, right? If you look back and evaluate my last couple seasons, there's been 2 things that really need to change. One, I need to lose weight. Being 230 pounds running an Ironman is not going to get me to where I want to goal-wise, and that's I want to qualify for the World Championship, whether it be getting a 10th or 15th place roll down for Nice or some other place, or qualifying for Kona the right way. Either way, 230 pounds is not going to do it. I'm going to need to be under 200 pounds to do that. So we have to focus on weight loss. We're going to lift weights. We're going to add some cardio in there. We're going to eat in a deficit for the first time in 4 years, and it's going to feel phenomenal. Once I get past the hunger, and I'm starting to work on that now. So weight loss is the first thing. The other thing I have to work on is, obviously, I have to work on my run. Even though I didn't get a chance to run this race, my marathon was 5:17. Before that, my marathon was 5:30. My half marathons, my other marathons for Ironman have been over 6 hours. My half marathons have been two plus. I need to hit like 120, 130. I need to hit a 3.5 hour marathon, whether it be standalone or a 3 to 3.5 hour standalone marathon, so I can have a chance at a 3.5 hour marathon at Ironman. So after after the next 6 months, we're gonna build a zone 2 endurance base, and we're gonna get back into marathons to start working on my run. And the next goal, I don't care if I hit the goal or not, to be honest. The next goal is gonna start, I don't know when I'm gonna start training for it, but the next goal is going to be, it's gonna be called Project Boston. And the goal is obviously gonna be to qualify for the Boston Marathon. Do I care if I qualify for the Boston Marathon? No. Why? Then why even say I'm gonna try to qualify? Because for me to get into Boston, I need to run a 3:10 marathon. That's my cutoff. But they say run 5 minutes faster than your cutoff to even have a chance. Well, why not run 10 minutes faster than my cutoff to go for a 3-hour marathon? Because that happens to be my goal. So if I can qualify for the Boston Marathon at the same time of reaching my weight loss goal and my running goal, why not? Do I care if I get selected for Boston Marathon? No, I really don't. But we're gonna take the next. I promised my wife I'd take some time away from Ironman just because of family. This last couple training blocks have been brutal on them. Missing a lot more dinners because of work schedule. All my workouts are in the afternoon or evenings, and it just takes a lot of time away from family. So that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on running because it's 1 workout a day. I can lift weights with my wife, which is going to be fun. I can focus on more things that I want to do personally, as far as like qualifications or certifications. Maybe get Ironman or USAT certified, level 1 certified, so I can become an official coach instead of being a coach in training. I'm going to work on more strength plans for my athletes. I'm going to work on just helping my coaches build their team, supporting the athletes that we have, and it's going to be better. Plus I'm going to be able to decompress mentally. I've just been in I'm not going to say a bad place, but I have not been in a happy place mentally to where I get up and I don't want to train, and that's not how it should be. I should want to train. I should enjoy training. So we're going to take the time off to work on that and go forward. And when I come back to Ironman, whenever that is, trust me, this is not the end of my Ironman chasing Kona goals. This is just working on things that are going to help those other things. And obviously there are things that are needed, and I'm excited for it. So we're going to work on Boston. We're going to start probably after Memorial Day. We're going to start lifting again. So the next series should start shortly after that. Stay tuned. I'm not going to record, you know, I'm not going to be like one of those lifestyle vloggers all of a sudden. I won't vlog anything until we start training again. Yeah, and it's going to be fun. So I apologize if you were hoping I would do really, really well at Ironman Texas. It is what it is. So sometimes it's just not your day, and that day was not my day. You know, my legs are, my upper foot is still kind of swollen from the pedal. My shoes are busted. My front rim is completely scraped, just scratched all the way around. My knee is still kind of recovering. My hip is still bruised. I mean, and it's Thursday, May 2nd. You know, a couple days, almost a week after the race. So I'm recovering. I'm recovering nicely. The only problem with recovery is I don't know what to do when I'm not working out at night now. So, yeah. Anyway, this video is probably way too long. I'm going to end this now. Thank you guys for following. Again, I apologize if you were hoping I would do really, really well with this. It just wasn't my day, and I'm okay with that. So, that's that. I will catch you guys in the next video. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Hit the bell so you know when I start posting again. And yeah, let's go get Boston. I'll talk about the plan with Boston later, but let's go get Boston. Let's get it. I think we can get it. I think I can get it. Hell, why don't you join me? I'll give you my race schedule later. Give you my race schedule. Come race with me. 3 marathons between December 25 and December 26. Or December 24, December 25. 3 marathons. Pick one. Come with me. I'll see you.